WWE, make it make sense. Make it make sense, WWE. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark YouTube channel, also known as the Rational Wrestling Viewer. And welcome back to another stream, another podcast, another video. We got to make this make sense. You have Bianca Belair, your Raw Women's Champion, on SmackDown. And you have your SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, on Raw. And for the love of God, please do not do a title swap, because that's something we do not need again. We don't need another title swap. Remember the last title swap they did with Becky and Charlotte? Yeah, that flopped. That flopped big time. That did nothing. That only devalues the titles. It also devalues the reigns of both women. Oh yeah, let's just play hot potato. Let's just, here, you give me this title, you take that title. Let's do a little trade-off. Because where in wrestling does that ever happen? It's one of these stupid things that WWE likes to do to insult their audience's intelligence. They like to insult your intelligence, thinking that it's not a big deal and nobody's really going to care or notice. But we know that's what they're planning on doing. Eventually, Bianca and Rhea are going to have to do their stupid little title swap. But how is it that your Raw champion is on SmackDown? Your SmackDown champion is on Raw? That's an issue. And there's no way in fixing that without devaluing the belts. Here's what I would suggest when it comes to the draft. A SmackDown champion and a Raw champion are ineligible. They are ineligible to be drafted, right? So that means Bianca and Rhea, they both should have been ineligible to be drafted, considering that they are both holding the brand's championship. Roman Reigns, Gunther, Austin Theory, I guess Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, they would all be eligible for a draft, right? KO and Sammy, I guess, but there's not a lot of tag teams on either brand. So both of them would still have to be on SmackDown too to defend the belts. But I'm going to get into that in just a second when it pertains to a particular tag team title match that we have for Night of Champions. But they need to make it make sense, and I don't think they're going to. Because both Bianca and Rhea Ripley, in my opinion, they look very, very stupid holding a SmackDown belt on Raw and Bianca holding a Raw belt on SmackDown. It just doesn't add up. But see, this is the type of stuff that the WWE likes to do to like make everybody else figure out their own mess, right? They don't really like to make sense out of a lot of things they do. Like, for instance, Indy Hartwell from NXT gets drafted to Raw, but she's the NXT Women's Champion. Okay. She relinquishes the title. Okay. But then you have Alba Fire, Isla Dawn of NXT. They're the NXT Women Tag Team Champions. They get drafted to SmackDown, but yet they're still holding on to their titles. They're still the NXT Women Tag Team Champions. So when do they drop the belts? Do you even have enough tag teams in the women's division, in NXT's women's division, to even, put those belts on anybody else? Because Katana Chance and Kayden Carter, they got drafted to Raw. I think what they should do is, to really make things a lot easier and less complicated, they should actually unify both of the women tag team championships on the main roster in NXT. Just like with the tag team belts, they need to do that with the women's tag team championships. They need to unify the women tag team champions and, the WWE women tag team championships and the NXT women tag team championships. Just unify both of those belts. And the champions can go to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, which will make things a lot easier and less complicated. That's what I think they should do. But they may not do that. So I'm just trying to make sense of this whole thing. And the minute that we get this title swap, it's going to be very, very lame. Because it just makes both women look dumb. So I guess you just have Bianca Belair as your Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown, and you have Rhea Ripley stay on Raw as a SmackDown Women's Champion. Because that makes sense. But here's also another thing that doesn't really make sense to me. And let me just pull up an image real quick. Let me get up out of this full screen. Pull up another image, shall we? Because I need to make my point clear here. Just bear with me for a moment. So there's another match that they're doing for Night of Champions. Not another match, but they're doing a particular match at Night of Champions that is kind of indifferent for me, very weird to me, that I'm not really much of a fan of on paper. And I may not be a fan of the results of this match. Or the ending of this match, I should say. Let me just pull up the image. Give me a minute. Okay. And make sure you guys like the video, subscribe today for more content. The likes are free. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Okay, let's pull it up. Let's see here. All right, this is the match that I am not a fan of. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not a fan of this match. Now, on paper, this will be a good match, but that's not the point. There's obviously a reason why they're doing this match, because if you watch SmackDown, the Usos are pretty much at odds with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is mad at the Usos because they lost to KO and Sami at WrestleMania. They lost in the main event. So Roman is pissed at his cousins for losing, disappointed. And so Roman has no faith in, the Usos anymore. But there was one part of the segment that I happened to notice, and I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but when the Usos said that they have dedicated their tag team title match to Roman Reigns, right, 2 weeks ago when they facing KO and Sami, that they were going to dedicate this victory, this match, to Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns, he brought that out in the promo. He actually brought it up, and he blew it up in the Usos' face, right? He was like, how dare you dedicate a tag team match to me when I'm not even in the tag team division, something of those lines that he said that, like, you're disrespecting me because you're dedicating a tag team loss to me. And they dedicated that match to Roman, and they lost. So in Roman's mind, he's the tribal chief. He's this narcissist. He's this, he's just on his high horse. He's thinking in his mind, how dare they dedicate a tag team match to me that they lost, and they did lose. So Roman Reigns in his mind feels disrespected by the Usos. Roman Reigns said, well, I'm not in the tag team division. You're dedicating a match to me that has nothing to do with me. I'm not in the tag team division. I'm the undisputed champion, damn it. I'm the world champion. Roman Reigns was offended, right? And he felt disrespected that the Usos dedicated that match. But they still lost. So he goes on to say that, the tag team titles will be brought back in the bloodline. But it's going to be because of me and Solo. That's what Roman says. Because he knows that him and Solo can get the job done. And he basically loses faith in the Usos because he thinks the Usos can't get the job done. Now, this undisputed tag team championship match is set for Night of Champions. But what I took from that promo, that part of the promo, was Roman Reigns is above the tag team division. And he has every right to be. And to think that way, he is above the tag team division. He looked at that as a slap in the face, because when the Usos dedicated their tag team title match to Roman, a guy who's not even in the tag team division, a guy who has never really been a tag team at all, really much in a tag team, he's always been in the main event slot, the main event spot, always, he felt disrespected and he felt slighted. But my thing is, why would Roman Reigns want to be fighting for the tag team championships if he felt disrespected by his own cousins for dedicating a tag team title match to him in which they lost? If he believes in his mind, his overinflated mind, his ego, that he thinks he's above the tag team division, why would Roman Reigns want him and Solo to face KO and Sami? And not just that, Solo said under his breath to Roman that KO and Sami is still a problem, but Roman Reigns reminded him that KO and Sami are not a problem. See, that's part of the promo that a lot of people miss, probably, but I didn't miss that part. So he's essentially saying that the KO and Sami Zayn problem is pretty much over, because he kind of laughed it off when Solo reminded him of a potential KO and Sami problem, but Roman laughed it off. Oh, there's no KO and Sami problem. No, of course not. You know, he kind of just laughed it off nonchalantly. But then he goes on to get offended when the Usos dedicate a tag title match to him in which the Usos lost. Roman felt disrespected. He's not in the tag team division, but then again, he turns around and proclaims that him and Solo are going to fight for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Now, this is what Paul Heyman said. Paul Heyman pulled some strings. But if that was the case this entire time, why would Roman need to say in his promo that he is above the tag team division, that it's a slap in the face for his own cousins to dedicate a tag team match to him, who's a main eventer, who's a top guy, who's the Undisputed Champion, who doesn't really need a tag team title reign? Yes, it would look good on him. I guess the whole goal is to make Roman 4 belts, right? Make Roman Reigns Roman 4 belts, like Becky 2 belts. Now, Roman Reigns could potentially hold 4 belts. I guess so. But why are we doing this tag team match? If Roman Reigns just said that he is above the tag team division, he doesn't, like, he pretty much buried the tag team division with his own words, that he's above it. So that's just something that I noticed and I had to bring up in discussion, because there seems to be a gap in the story here. Why would Roman need to be a tag team champion? You know, if he was so disgusted of the Usos dedicating their tag team title match to him, because you saw the promo, Roman Reigns was offended. Now, it's obvious who's winning this match. Solo hasn't lost a match. The only match he's lost to was Cody. Cody was the only guy that can beat Solo. KO and Sami cannot beat Roman. Right? Alone, individually, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens can't beat Solo Sikoa. So there's no way that Sami and KO are winning this match on paper. And it just makes the tag team titles, to me, it seems like they're going to be held hostage, right? Because, you know, we need another set of titles to be held hostage, right? That's exactly what we need, right? When you have a lot of tag teams on Raw and SmackDown that can easily face KO and Sami at Night of Champions. I mean, in fact, shouldn't Roman Reigns be defending the Undisputed Championship against, I don't know, like an AJ Styles or Bobby Lashley at Night of Champions? Why is he going for the tag belts? It just doesn't add up. Obviously, this is their way of creating more problems in the bloodline. This is their way of creating more dissension with the Usos and Roman Reigns. So we see it coming. They're going to break up. But this is how they want to go about it. I wouldn't necessarily go about it that way, but we'll have to see what happens. There's a chance that the Usos could cost Roman Reigns and Solo the tag team titles. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but I also won't be surprised if Roman and Solo just they completely squash KO and Sami. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. So I just want to share my thoughts and opinions on just the current things that's going on right now within WWE in terms of the shows and storylines right now. It just seems like a lot of things are not making sense. Um, the whole Bianca Rhea Ripley as champions on the wrong brand, right? Like, she's a women's champion, the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown, Rhea the SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw. That will never make any sense to me. And Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa going after the tag team titles, Roman Reigns going after the tag team titles doesn't make sense to me, because after he blatantly just ripped apart the Usos for dedicating their tag team title match to him, in which they lost, and Roman felt disrespected by that, and saying that he's above the tag team division. He's not in the tag team division, but then it's like, why would you turn around and say, well, we're going to fight for the tag team titles and we're going to face KO and Sami, and then tell Solo that Sami Zayn and KO are no longer a problem, right? So there was never a problem with KO and Sami. Then why are they going after the tag team titles if there's no problem? Roman Reigns, when he says in the Bloodline that, oh, we have a KO problem, you see on TV that they try to take care of the KO problem, right? If there's a Sami problem, you see on TV, on SmackDown or Raw, that they try to take care of the Sami Zayn problem, right? Well, and if Roman's laughing it off, then there's no real KO and Sami Zayn problem then. So I can definitely see Roman and Solo winning, no doubt in my mind. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments section, what you guys think. I just think this stuff doesn't make any sense to me right now. It seems to me that they're just putting stuff together without much thought to it. But that's just my thoughts. So that being said, this is your Irrational Wrestling Mark, also known as the Rational Wrestling Viewer. And make sure y'all like the video for the algorithm. Subscribe if you are new. And I'm out. Peace.